Hello everyone and welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name's Michael and I'm bitten by a radioactive book. Today is Tic Tac Tuesday and we're doing the Courtship Tag. The Courtship Tag was originally created by Hi I Love Books and I was tagged by Saskia from All Things Bookish, so thank you very much for that. And I leave both the information to the original video and to Saskia's video in the description box down below. So, we have 10 questions, and as you know, I tend to get a little bit rambly at some times, so let's get into the questions right away. The first phase of courtship is the initial attraction, so a book I bought because of the cover. I have actually a lot of books that I buy because of the cover, and I showed so many quite often already, so I went for a book that I didn't show that often so far, I think only once, and it is Gideon Smith and the Mechanical Girl. It's a steampunk, and I really like the detail. I'm more of a person in art that likes very detail focused, very like realistically in kind of proportions. I'm not like for abstract kind of things. So I love the detail on this cover. If you look at it, you see the little people in front of the train, the clouds. It has a lot of like atmosphere, and so that drew me in initially. Phase 2 is the first impressions, a book that I bought because of the summary. That has to be definitely Ninja vs. Pirate featuring zombies. The title, of course, was a main selling point already, but when I read like the ridiculous summary, I knew that was a book I had to check out because it sounded so weird and I wanted to find out all about it. Phase 3 is Sweet Talk, a book with great writing. Here I'm going for Tigana by Guy Gabriel Kay. In my personal opinion, I think Guy Gabriel Kay is one of the best writers from the point of his prose at the moment in the fantasy genre, and yeah, therefore I take Tigana. Phase 4 is First Date, a first book of a series which made you want to pursue the rest of the series. There the answers again could be manifold, but I'm going to go with Inda by Sherwood Smith, because that was a book I was already looking forward to, because Samantha from Novels and Nonsense talked so much about it, and after I read it I was really hooked. I'm yeah, at the moment reading like the second book, and so this is like a very current event of a first book that really got me hooked, and I wanted to read the rest of the series immediately. And as all 4 books of the initial series are out, I can. So that's a good thing. Phase 5, Late Night Phone Calls, a book that kept you all up all night long. That is kind of difficult because I usually read late into the night, so that wouldn't be something special. So I'm going to take Old Man's War here by John Scalzi, because in my recollection it's the only book I managed to read within 25 hours. Or no, not 25, 24, of course, yeah. In my world, the day is always an hour longer. Weirdo. So yeah, Old Man's War was a book I actually was able to read within 24 hours, despite it being like a 300 kind of page book, and it normally takes me longer to read a book like that. Yeah, so that was very exciting and I was really hooked, and when I think about these kind of page turners that keep you reading and reading, this is like the first one that comes to my mind. And Phase 6, always on my mind. Well, see what I did there? Huh? Yeah. A book that you could not stop thinking about. And I'm going to take a very boring answer, sorry for that, but it's a Game of Thrones by George R. R. Martin, and it was not so much like the initial reading of the book, but when I read the book, so I discovered the series like around the turn of the century, maybe 2002, maybe 2003, something like that. So the TV show was not even on the horizon there, and so I read the first book and I really enjoyed it, and then I met some people and they asked me some questions about the book, how I like this and what I think about who might be the parents of Jon Snow or something like that. And I was yeah, it's kind of obvious as well. And then went, no, 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 read it carefully. And they told me so many things to look out for, that I immediately thought, okay, I have to reread this book and see if they are right. And I did that, and I was really surprised, and then I started really thinking about the book, about the series, and I became obsessed with it. And there was like a time period of 2 or 3 years where I only read and reread like the three Game of Thrones books and tried to find everything out about them. And yeah, that was so this book or this series then was really on my mind. So yeah, that's the answer for it. Sorry for picking like just the popular book, but that was what happened. Phase 7, Getting Physical. Ooh. A book in which you love the way it feels. Okay, I read digital books, so getting physical is kind of... No. Do we do this joke? Do I cut it out? No, I know I will leave it in, so bear with it. Okay, herefore I take The Peculiar by Stefan Bachmann. I love the atmosphere in this book. It's very whimsical, magical, lovely, feel good. Although there are happening a lot of bad things to the characters, but yeah, I really love the kind of atmosphere that book had, and therefore I'm taking The Peculiar. Phase 8 is Meeting the Parents, a book that you would recommend to your family and friends. That is really difficult, because I'm taking this like personally. So when I look at my friends and family, my family is more of yeah, readers, the ones that read, like my mother and my grandmother. They prefer like historical fiction. So it needed to be something that had some like historical setting in our world. But when I look at my friends, we have in the readers we have like two camps. We have a few that read like almost exclusively science fiction and fantasy, like I do, and I have friends that yeah, read more like I think my normal popular literature, um, crime novels, thrillers, stuff like that, or like more intellectually engaging books. So I at least I would say it needed to be like, yeah, as I said, a historical setting with fantastical elements, but also something to be intellectually engaging. And when I think about this kind of combination, I immediately come up with The Strange Affair of Spring Heel Jack by Mark Hodder, because it is just that. It's like it's a steampunk, so it is set in the Victorian era, but it has heavy fantastical elements as well, and it is very well written and has some very interesting intellectual themes. So I think the majority of readers in my personal circle of friend and family readers would be satisfied with this book, and therefore it's like, yeah, the common denominator recommendation. Phase 9, thinking about the future. A book that you know you are going to reread a lot in the future. That is kind of difficult, and I'm going to skip this one, or not giving it a definite answer, because at the moment it's more like I have like this huge 4-figure TBR, and I have like more books already marked as to read on Goodreads that are series that just sounded interesting, and I marked there for kind of future reference. Or just to keep up with the releases that come out that sound interesting to me. So at the moment there is like this huge amount of books that I haven't read. And so thinking about rereading is something that is always on my mind. I have like a couple of series that I read like 15 or 20 years ago, and that might be very interesting to reread for me now. But on the other hand, there are so many new books I want to read as well, or before that, that I'm not really thinking about actually rereading books in more of like a theoretical concept. So yeah, I'm leaving this one out. And phase 10, share the love. Who would you tag? I'm tagging everyone who has ever been to a court or who has ever been on a ship, because it's the courtship tag. Yeah, I did that. It was me who tagged you. If you've been to court or on a ship, if you just drove on a fire train, that might have been exciting but not tag worthy. Sorry. So, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of me, subscribe to my channel. If you want to know what's coming up on my channel, please look inside the description box. There's a little segment there called On the Horizon. I wish you a good day and hope you get courted by a really good book too. Bye.